When you put up a new bird feeder, the hope is that birds will start showing up right away. Sometimes they do, and sometimes it takes a little patience. Either way, that moment when the first bird lands is always worth the wait. Some species are naturally curious and quick to explore new things. Others are already watching your yard and just waiting for the right opportunity. In this video, we're sharing 5 of the first birds that usually show up at a new feeder setup. This isn't a ranked list, and your experience might vary depending on where you live. But these 5 species are among the most likely early guests in backyards across the eastern US. Before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe for more backyard bird videos. And drop a comment telling us which birds you usually see first at your feeders. Alright, let's jump in. Number 1. Chickadee. Chickadees are tiny, energetic birds with soft gray backs, white cheeks, and a black cap and throat. They have a rounded shape and a bouncy, fluttering flight that makes them fun to watch. Their cheerful call is one of the most recognizable backyard sounds. These birds are usually among the first to check out a new feeder, especially if you're offering black oil sunflower seed. They prefer to grab a seed and fly off to crack it open somewhere nearby. Tube feeders, hopper feeders, and suet cages all work for them. Chickadees don't migrate, so once they find your setup, they usually stick around all year, especially in the fall and winter when natural food is scarce. Number 2. Tufted titmouse. The tufted titmouse is a sleek, pale gray bird with a white belly, peachy sides, and a pointed crest that gives it a distinctive, alert look. It's slightly larger than a chickadee, and the 2 species are often seen sharing feeders. Titmice are fond of sunflower seeds and will also go for peanuts and suet. They're a bit more assertive than chickadees and may stay at the feeder longer. They use the same types of feeders, tube, hopper, or tray, and are steady year-round visitors across most of the eastern US. Number 3. Northern cardinal. Northern cardinals are instantly recognizable. Males are a brilliant red all over with a black mask and tall crest on their heads, while females are a warm brown with reddish highlights on the wings and tail. Both have strong orange beaks built for cracking seeds. Cardinals like open, stable feeders where they can perch easily, such as platform or hopper styles. They favor sunflower and safflower seeds and are most often seen in the early morning or just before sunset. These birds don't migrate and tend to stay close to home, so once they discover a reliable food source, they're likely to return every day. Number 4. Downy woodpecker. The downy woodpecker is the smallest woodpecker in North America. It has a clean black and white pattern, with males sporting a small red patch on the back of the head. Their small, chisel-like bill helps to set them apart from their look-alike cousin, the larger but similar-looking hairy woodpecker. Downies are typically one of the very first woodpeckers to visit feeders, especially if you offer suet. They'll also take sunflower seeds and peanuts and are agile enough to use suet cages and even tube feeders with wide perches. These birds are non-migratory and stick around even on the coldest winter days. Number 5. House finch. House finches are medium-sized songbirds with streaky brown feathers and a sturdy cone-shaped beak. Males have a red wash over the head and chest, while females are fully brown with heavy streaking. Their coloring is subtle, and the amount of red on males can vary in brightness depending on their diet. They're flexible eaters and quickly discover new feeders, especially those stocked with sunflower seed or millet. House finches are highly social and often show up in pairs or small groups. They're year-round residents in many parts of the US, and once they realize that your feeder is a reliable food source, they may become part of the daily activity in your yard. Now let's take a quick look at 5 other species I was close to leaving out entirely, but they deserve an honorable mention. They're usually not the very first to arrive, but they're often not far behind. White-breasted nuthatches are quick-moving little birds with a clean white face, blue-gray back, and a sharp pointed bill. They're often seen creeping headfirst down tree trunks, a behavior that sets them apart from most other backyard birds. At feeders, they love sunflower seeds and peanuts, usually grabbing one and flying off to tuck it into the bark of a nearby tree for later. Red-bellied woodpeckers are about the size of a robin, making them noticeably larger than downy woodpeckers. They have bold black and white barring on the back and a bright red cap that stretches from the nape to the beak in males. Despite the name, the reddish patch on the belly is usually faint and easy to miss. They can be a little cautious with new feeders at first, but once they feel safe, they're steady visitors, especially if you offer suet, peanuts, or sunflower seeds. Blue jays are one of the most well-known backyard birds. Loud, colorful, and impossible to miss. They're about the size of a robin, with bright blue feathers, a tall crest, and bold black markings around the face and neck. They're one of the smartest birds you'll see at your feeder, and can be leery of new food sources until they've scoped things out. Jays may watch from a nearby tree before making a move, but if you're offering unshelled peanuts, it usually doesn't take long before they decide it's worth the visit. Carolina wrens are small but full of personality. They're spunky, animated, and surprisingly loud for their size. They have warm reddish-brown feathers, a bold white eyebrow stripe, and a habit of holding their tail upright as they hop around. These little birds will show up at different types of seed feeders, but they'll also go after suet if available. You might spot them poking around porch corners, hanging baskets, or deck railings. They're not always the first to discover a new feeder, but their loud song is hard to miss, and once they're comfortable, they become frequent and charming visitors. And last up is the American goldfinch. This bird tends to be a little more selective than some of the others on this list. However, they can become regular visitors if you're offering the right food, especially Niger or sunflower chips. Once they discover your feeder, they often return in small flocks and bring a bright splash of yellow to the yard. If you're putting out a new feeder and want to help birds find it as soon as possible, here are a few simple tips. Start with seed that appeals to the widest range of species. Black oil sunflower is the best all-around choice. It works in just about any feeder and draws in everything from chickadees to cardinals. Make sure the feeder is easy to see, but also within 10 to 15 feet or so of some natural cover like trees or shrubs. Birds feel safer when they can check things out from a nearby perch before flying in. You can also try sprinkling a handful of seeds on the ground below the feeder. That often helps birds spot the food faster, especially ground-feeding birds like doves and sparrows. Adding a bird bath nearby doesn't hurt either. Moving water catches their attention and gives birds another reason to stop by. This might even attract birds that don't usually visit feeders. And finally, give it a little time. Sometimes birds show up the same day. Other times, it can take a week or longer. But once the first one finds it, others usually follow quickly. Putting up a feeder is one of the simplest ways to bring more birds into your yard. With the right food and a little patience, your yard can turn into a lively stop for a wide variety of backyard birds. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe and let us know in the comments which birds you've seen at your feeder lately. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.